Hello, welcome to the channel, and welcome to this review of Battletome Skaven. Yes! Which GW have very kindly sent me free of charge for your reviewing pleasure. Now, before I start, there might be some background noise because it's the hottest day of the year. The laptop's overheating, the fan's on. I apologise in advance. So, those of you who've been following my hobby vlogs, which I think have mostly been in the members lounge, but I think there's the odd one that hasn't. I've been rebasing my old Fantasy Battle Skaven in anticipation of this book, so I can't wait. Yee. Okay, so I'm going to have a rambling chat through the book and pick out stuff and talk about it as I go. There's so much goodness, and the pictures are so pretty, so pretty. Yes. Okay, so, start the book. It goes on about the Skaven, as you'd expect, because, it's the Skaven book. It talks about the Under Empire in the Realm of Chaos, and how it's run by the Council of 13, and the Great Horned Rat being one of the major chaos powers in the Mortal Realms. Have I missed the thing? Oh, I have missed the thing. I nearly forgot to do the thing. The bit at the beginning. It begins with the sound of frantic skittering. Oh, right, I'm doing badly. I can't read, and I've left the sound on. Right, sound's off. Susurrus. Sorry, as you were. It begins with the sound of frantic skittering, a susurrus of scrabbling claws and squirming tails that grows louder and more incessant by the moment. Then, boiling up from their hidden lairs, a tide of unwashed fur they come, the verminous swarms of the Skaven. They are the spawn of the malevolent deity known as the Great Horned Rat, and in all aspects they do embody their foul god. Devious and conniving creatures, they are utterly assured of their own towering genius and their inalienable right to conquer the mortal realms. All who would threaten the supremacy of Skavendom suffer the fearsome wrath of the Horned Rat's armies. The ground writhes as a teeming horde of mangy bodies surges across the battlefield, overwhelming all in its path in a frenzy of rusty, stabbing blades. Batteries of techno-arcane weapons level the battlefield in a blinding cascade of vile green lightning. Obscene monstrosities of stitched-together flesh hurl themselves at the foe, drool spilling from between their yellow fangs. Stalking through the massive bodies come towering rat demons, horned heads twitching back and forth as they observe the terrible slaughter delightedly. Since the dawning of the mortal realms, these ratmen have thrived, gnawing upon the very fabric of reality. Now, as the era of the beast unleashes the tide of bestial savagery across the cosmos, the Skaven are stirred into frenzied action as never before. Forth they come in their teeming millions, killing and conquering in the name of the Great Horned Rat. Yes. Sorry, nearly forgot that bit. I'd have been very distressed with myself. Then a section on Blight City in the Realm of Chaos, where they all do live. The nature of gnaw holes, Skaven basically chewing their way from the Realm of Chaos into reality, popping up without the need for realm gates, which is one of the reasons it makes them so dangerous, and makes them very handy to get into any narrative scenario. They've just chewed through. Boom, Skaven. Nice little bit about how different clans chew through reality in different ways. Some more technical, like Clan Skyer, Clan Moulder, make beasts that can chew through reality and just set them off. which is pretty cool. The realm picture thing is in Shannon, and it talks about sort of conflicts with Tzeentch, and obviously the humans that live there, the man-things that live there. Then we have the traditional little ditties from Age of Myth, Age of Chaos, the Age of Sigmar, the clans at war. Oh, excuse me, my hay fever is terrible. I do apologise. Next time, I'll think ahead to pause that out. I'm learning as I go. Learning. There's a pause button there. I can use it. The great thriving mass of Skavendom is divided into 5 great clans. You see, back in the day it used to be 4 clans. I think they've... And this, I don't imagine, is new for the Mortal Realms. I think it's in the previous book, and probably the one before that. The general just tides of miscellaneous random clan rats and storm vermin, they count as a clan in their own right. So you've got Moulder, Skyer, Escher, the other one, Pestilence, and Vermintide, with the Grey Seers counting entirely as their own clan. So Clan Escher are the sneaky assassins. Clan Moulder are the ones who create horrible diseases. They're the sort of beast masters. Clan Skyer are the technological maniacs, building all sorts of insane machines. Clan Pestilence are the disease ones, which you can actually take as... you can take Clan Pestilence unit with a Maggotkin of Nurgle army, and you can take Maggotkin of Nurgle units as allies to a Clan Pestilence army, which we will come on to. Well, actually, that pretty much sums it up. But so not so much coming on to it more. I will repeat it in a minute. Yes, so Clan Verminous. What did I say? I said Vermintide. I meant Verminous. So yes, it starts to talk about the different clans, which is nice. Then you've got, so it talks generally. Then you've got a double page on the Master Clan and the Screaming Bells, the Vermin Lords, the different aspects of the Great Horn Rat, different types of greater rat demons. You've got Warbringers, who are sort of hitty punchy. Deceivers, who are the sneaky stabby. Corruptors, who are the smelly. Warpseers, who are the magicy. And the Vermin King, who are, yeah, like in charge. Yeah, then we've got the usual sort of thing where it talks about Clan Skyer and the different Clan Skyer units. Then the next one is Pestilence and Pestilence units. The Verminous and the Verminous units. Well, like Claw Lords, Clan Rats and Storm Vermin. The Monsters of Moulder. Clan Moulder are the makers of monsters, feared and reviled even by their fellow Skaven. They utilise the most appalling fleshcraft to create grotesque living weapons, and then loose these stitched together horrors upon their foes, with gruesomely effective results. Yes, yes! The Agents of Eshin. Clan Eshin carry out their murderous business in the dark corners of the Under Empire, hiring themselves out as spies and assassins. So attuned to their shadows are these mysterious Skaven that they can breach any fortress and locate any mark, fulfilling their kill contract with a well-placed blade. Stab, stab. Then we got pictures. We've got lovely dioramery set-up pictures. I mean, they just look gorgeous. In so much as Skaven versus Flesh Eater Courts can look gorgeous, but, you know, it does. Then we've got Skaven versus Fire Slayers, which is nice orange underground hue on there. I'm like, oh yeah, I totally want to do that. And then I think, I need underground cave terrain. On fire underground cave terrain. I don't have any of that. Damn it. Then what do we have? We've got Grey Seers versus Lumineth Realm Lords. A nice diorama of the Claw Lords of Clan Verminous just surging out to war. Who are these? I'm assuming these are some kind of chaos cultists that Clan Eshin are doing over. I'm guessing they're from Warcry, from the looks of the grafted hooks onto their hands. Oh, and then we've got a tide of doom wheels rolling downhill towards Iron Jaws. Nice. A sneaky assassin sneaking up behind some Kurnoth thingy lord, Sylvaneth. They've got a name. It could be anything. Then there's an underground catacomby thing where they are trying to stab up some Nighthaunt. That's a game I want to play. More monsters against Fire Slayers. Now what's this? Then this is a plague army with a plague furnace and lots of plague monks against Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Nice. I have to say, it does make me want to get 5 Vermin Lords, seeing the pictures of the different Vermin Lords. I mean, they're not just notionally a little bit different, they're all, like, totally different. Then, a beautiful diorama of an embattled Azurite city with loads of statues and strong points. Sort of some in ruin, some not, and the tide of vermin surging out over their Stormcaster terminals. I can't quite work out what host they are. They're silver armour and blue trims. I should know what that is, but I can't recall. Oh yeah, storm vermin surrounding the Vermin Lord, and oh yes. Then then we're on to the painting guide. I do like the way the Battletomes have painting guides. We've got 4 different types of banners, then some detail on how to freehand paint the designs on the banners. 4 different types of fur. Light brown, black, cream, dark brown. They look sufficiently different. I like that. I'll definitely be picking up different fur types in the models I'm going to paint in future. One of the challenges I have is that my Skaven army is probably about 15 years old, so all the paint range was different when I painted them. I will have my notes somewhere about how I painted them, but I'm going to have to reverse engineer it with the current paint. It's also not great, so the challenge will also be how to raise it up a level, but still have them look right sat next to the existing models. Skin tutorial, cloth, red, green, off-white and black. Off-white, how are they doing that? Rakarth, Seraphim, Pallid Witch Flesh, Steel Legion Drab. Interesting. A lot of different blades, Plague Claw, Plague Slop, horns, wood. How are they doing the wood? Rhinox base coat, Norn oil, Gorthor brown dry brush, Carrickstone dry brush, and then some patches of Baeltan green to make it look mouldy. Warpstone, different armor variants. Yeah, there's loads here. Well, I say loads, I mean I've read out what there is. That is what there is, but they're all cool. Right, now we're on to the rules, but I think I just need to press pause. See, I'm learning, getting better. Right, now we're on to the rules. Some of them are a teensy bit... No, they're not complicated. There's just a lot. Normally you expect these rules to be across like 4 pages, but they're across 10. 12. And that's because they, rather than make the 5 clans different army selections, so as a sub as what do you call it, not sector, faction, a sub faction, they've taken the approach of you can have access to all the factions, but if you have your general from one faction, it changes things a little bit. If you have multiple heroes from one faction, it changes it a little bit. So, for instance, and I'm going to jump to the back, I'm going to jump to the pitch battle profiles. So I mentioned earlier about allies being Maggotkin of Nurgle. So you can take Maggotkin of Nurgle as allies only if the general is from Clan Pestilence. They are the only allies you can take with Skaven. I think you can take Skaven as allies for other armies, but they're the only ones you can ally up with Skaven. And I like that because I've got 2 or 3 Pestilence units, and I've got a bunch of Maggotkin units, but I can like use the odd one to make them up to 1,000 points. So that's nice. I like that. But what I was saying was, so giant rats, for instance, you can include 1 unit of this type as a battle line unit for each clan Moulder hero you include in the army. So if you're going to have 3 Master Moulders, you can take 3 units of giant rats as battle line. Equally, Rat Ogres. You can include 1 unit of this type as battle line for each clan Moulder hero you include in your army. So if your general, if you've taken a Master Moulder, that's your Rat Ogre, 1 unit of Rat Ogres and 1 unit of giant rats, battle line. Bosh. Boom. Something like that. Equally, Gutter Runners, Night Runners. For each hero you take, you can include 1 each of those as battle line. Plague Censer Bearers, Plague Monks, same thing. Sky Acolytes, and Storm Fiends. And Storm Fiends! I mean, Storm Fiends are monstrous. They're like the most expensive unit in this book, barring the Vermin Lord and barring like the unique stuff and the Behemoths, because they're like 320 points for 3. They're horrific. I'm gonna get to them. Is that what there is to say? Yes, I think that's what there is to say about the selections. Yes, so with that in mind, there are lots of pages about enough sort of traits and... Are they called artifacts? I think they're artifacts. I don't think they're called relics. Artifacts of power. So, for example, the battle traits are across 4 pages because there are general battle traits and there are Master Clan, Moulder, Eshin, Verminous, Skyer, Pestilence battle traits. Then it repeats for command traits, etc., etc., etc. So, with no further ado, the general Skaven battle traits, and I do like these. I have to say, I really like this book. It makes me want to stop every other hobby project and just paint more Skaven. Like, I want my Screaming Bell done, and my Plague Furnaces, and, I mean, just all of it. Lead from the back. -1 to hit rolls when you're targeting a Skaven hero that's not a monster. That's within 3 inches of a friendly Skaven unit that has 3 or more models. So basically, you get look out, sir, in melee, because you're hiding behind inferior rats and pushing them in front of the danger. Scurry away. I ruddy love this. But then again, I'm going to be saying, take it as read that I ruddy love everything I'm reading out, because I haven't found anything out I don't really like. Scurry away. In the combat phase, when you pick a Skaven hero that doesn't have a mount, you can say it's going to scurry away instead, and you can just retreat. So it's your turn to go first, and they've battled towards your general or whoever it is, so you're like, okay, I'm going to pick a unit to fight. I'm going to pick my general. Like it! Run, run! You stay, run, run! And then this is brutal. Utterly brutal. Strength in numbers. Brace yourselves. Add 1 inch to the range of melee weapons used by friendly Skaven units for every 10 models in the attacking unit, to a maximum of 3 inches. So I'll just give you a minute to compose yourselves. So if you've got, for instance, a unit of 40 clan rats, so that's 1 reinforced unit of clan rats, then you are going to add 3 inches to the range of their weapons. Their weapon range, I can't remember if their spears are extra range. Let's find out. Let's go and check. Come on. Yes, yes. Clan rats. Rusty spear, 2-inch range. And it just so happens that my units have got rusty spears because they're the ones I've rebased. This is like 150 I haven't rebased. But rusty spear, 2-inch range. So those 40 clan rats that are costing... Okay, it's 100 points for 20. So the 40 clan rats costing 200 points are going to attack. Every model within 5 inches is going to attack. And the number of attacks with those was... It was only 1. Okay. Only 1. But that means basically all 40 of those clan rats can get in and attack. No problem. And obviously it degrades as you kill more. It makes sense that it's a maximum of 3 inches. It doesn't feel like that's just an arbitrary balancing thing. Whilst it is sort of balancing. It's sheer, it doesn't matter how many there are, if they're 300 yards down the road, they aren't fighting. It just feels so Skaven-y. So Skaven-y. Right, the Master Clan battle traits. Skilled manipulators. Sorry about that. Skilled manipulators. Long story short, they can pass off wounds to nearby units. Always 3 claw steps ahead. Now, as with most of these clan battle traits, if you have a certain number of, and I think they've gone through this on the community forum, if you have a certain number of characters, you get an extra trait. So if you're leaning heavily into one clan, you get bonuses in that clan. But it doesn't stop you getting bonuses for all the clan units you take in any combination in a Skaven army. So you can have all 5 clans, all 6 clans, including Master Clan, in your army, and you will get a set of bonuses for each one. If you go really heavy in one, you get more bonuses. So if you have 3 Master Clan units, always 3 claw steps ahead. You need to have 3 Master Clan heroes who are basically just Grey Seers and variations thereof. After you pick a friendly Skaven unit to be your first unit to run that phase and make a run roll for them, you can use that run roll in place of any other run rolls you make for friendly Skaven units until the end of that phase. I can't Can't see anything that says you can't use at the double. I think it's called at the double. The command point stratagem that lets you move 6 inches when you run. So, yeah, one command point. Every Skaven unit is running 6 inches. Get close to stab them. Yes, yes. After you pick a friendly Skaven unit to be your first unit to attempt to charge that phase and make a charge roll for that unit, you can use that charge roll in place of any other charge rolls you make for friendly Skaven units to the end of that phase. And then, the pièce de résistance. This is grotesquely good. After you pick a friendly Skaven unit to be your first unit to fight in a phase and make a pile-in move for that unit, you can make pile-in moves for each other friendly Skaven unit on the battlefield that is within 3 inches of enemy units. So, it doesn't let you fight with all your units, which I think I thought it did 10 seconds ago. It's good, it's not grotesque. But it lets every other unit make a 3-inch move, a 3-inch piling move, and it explicitly says in a designer note it doesn't stop them piling in again when you activate them for real. So where you have big units and you're desperate to get them all into your 5-inch range, then yeah, if you've got 3 clan masters, say you've got, I don't know, 2 Grey Seers and a Screaming Bell on the table. Stuff, buy more Grey Seers, buy more of everything. It's all Clan Moulder. Okay, at the start of the first battle round, you get to pick a Hell Pit Abomination and give it a mutation from the table opposite. If you have 3 or more Master Moulders, if you include 3 or more Master Moulders in your army, you can pick each Hell Pit Abomination to have mutation instead of only 1. The Abomination can't have more than 1 mutation, and you cannot have duplicates. Okay, so what have we got? Toughened Sinews. Unit has a wound characteristic of 16 and a save of 4+, as opposed to... as opposed to 14 and 5+. Yeah, okay. Lumbering Behemoth. Unit has a... I'm going to keep my finger in the page. Unit has a move characteristic of 7. And a charge roll for this unit is automatically a 7, as opposed to a move of 2d6. Okay. Quivering Bulk. Add 1 to each roll you make for this unit's Avalanche of Flesh ability. Avalanche of Flesh. I mean, we might as well look at the Hell Pit Abomination now, mightn't we? Avalanche of Flesh. Do not use the attack sequence for Avalanche of Flesh. That's easy for you to say. Roll a number of dice equal to the number of models in the target unit within range. This is a melee weapon, a 3-inch range. For each roll that's equal to or greater than the Avalanche of Flesh value in the table, the unit takes a mortal wound. So, oh! Let me make sure I've got that right. Roll the number of dice equal to the number of models in the target unit that are within range. That are within range. Okay, not the whole unit. You can re-roll any of the dice if you made a charge roll this turn. For each roll that's equal to or greater than the Avalanche of Flesh value, the target suffers a mortal wound. Okay, so an uninjured Hell Pit Abomination, the Avalanche of Flesh is 2+. 3-inch range. So you make a charge. Well, that's when you make the attack sequence. So if your opponent's piled in, and the whole unit's within 3 inches of you, they die each on a 2+, which goes down to 3+, 4+, 5+. but the Quivering Bulk adds 1 to the Avalanche of Flesh ability. Jiminy Jilliker's radioactive, man. Best Warpstone Spikes. You can reroll the dice when you use the Warpstone Spikes ability. Okay, Warpstone Spikes. Each time this unit is affected by a spell or the abilities of an endless spell, you can roll a dice on a 4+, ignore the effect of that spell or the effect of the endless spell. So you can re-roll that. Okay. Backup Organs. You can re-roll the dice when you use the unit's Too Horrible to Die ability. I'm just going to point out, I've got one of these undercoated already. I'm just putting that out there. The first time this unit is destroyed before removing it from the battlefield, roll the dice and look at the result below, which you can re-roll if you've got backup organs. On a 1, it's dead. 2 to 4 rats emerge. All units within 3 inches suffer D3 mortal wounds, then remove the unit from play. 5 to 6, it's alive! The unit is not destroyed, instead heals D6 wounds allocated to it, and any wounds or mortal wounds that remain to be allocated to it are negated and have no effect. So you get it down to 0, you scratch the rest of the damage, then it heals D6. Yowzers. So they are the... What if you have 3 Master Moulders? You can add one of these to all of your Hell Pit Abominations. Tell me the Hell Pit Abominations aren't... They don't become battle line if you go for a Master Moulder. Hell Pit Abominations, no, they don't. And they're 2, 4, 5 points. So they're not cheap, but they're not super expensive either. So what else do they do? We've covered the wounds, we've covered the move. Avalanche of Flesh. Gnashing Teeth. 6 attacks, 3+3+. The Rend scale starts at -3, then goes down to -1. 2 damage. Flailing Fists. Has a scaling number of attacks. Starts at 6, goes down to 3. 3+3+, -1, 3. Goodness me. These are horrific beasts. Absolutely horrific. Yeah. The only other ability that we haven't already covered is Regenerating Monstrosity. In your hero phase, you can heal up to D3 wounds allocated to this unit. Sharp intake of breath. So that's Clan Moulder. We're still on battle traits. Clan Eshin. Start the first battle round. Pick an enemy hero and add 1 to hit and wound rolls for Clan Eshin units that target that hero. If you've got 3 or more, it counts against all enemy heroes. Clan Verminous. This is a heroic action that your Warlord... Clawlord, not Warlord. This is a heroic action you can carry out with 1 friendly Clawlord instead of picking from the table in the core rules. If you do, pick 1 eligible command trait from pages 70 to 71 that the Clawlord does not already have, and apply the effect to the unit to the end of this turn. If you have 3 or more Clawlords, you can do it with each friendly Clawlord. So, command traits. Right, okay, so you can get an extra command trait each turn if you use that as your heroic action. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Clan Skyer. Warpstone Sparks. Okay, if you include any Clan Skyer heroes before the battle, you roll a d3 and add 3 to the roll. Or if you've got 3 or more Clan Skyer heroes, it's d6 and add 3 to the roll. The result is the number of Warpstone Sparks you receive and can use during the battle. You can only use 1 per phase, and it can be used to carry out the following abilities. In the hero phase, use a Clan Skyer Wizard. You can reroll casting, dispelling and unbinding rolls for the wizard to the end of the phase. At the end of the phase, roll the dice. On a 1, the wizard suffers D3 mortal wounds. So the drawback on all three of these is roll a dice at the end of it. On a 1, you suffer D3 mortal wounds. You start your shooting phase. Use it on a Clan Sky hero. Pick up to 3 different Clan Sky units wholly within 13 inches of that hero. Add 1 to the damage characteristic of missile weapons used by those units until the end of the phase. And then dropping stuff out. Oh, so you could lace the Poison Wind with more Warpstone. A Warpstone Spark. In the combat phase, pick a friendly hero. Add 1 to hit rolls and wound rolls of that unit till the end of the phase. Then at the end of the phase, roll the dice on a 1, take D3 mortal wounds. So they can do the whole more Warpstone thing. Nice. Okay, Clan Pestilence. Echoes of the Great Plagues. When you make a chanting roll for a friendly Clan Pestilence priest, you can add 1 to the casting roll for each other Clan Pestilence priest wholly within 13 inches of the chanter. So similar to the multiple Grey Seers thing, if you've got multiple Plague Priests, they start to make life easier for each other. If the chanting roll for a prayer is 6+, so obviously you're going to get a buff to that if you've got lots of nearby priests, you can pick 1 of the following Great Plagues to manifest in addition to the effect of the prayer. Each Great Plague can only be manifest once per battle, and no more than 1 Great Plague can manifest in the same turn. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, convenient. Bubonic Blight Plague. Pick the nearest enemy unit within 13 inches of the chanter. The infected unit suffers 2d6 mortal wounds. That is horrible. This... Okay. If the infected unit is destroyed by those mortal wounds, you can pick another unit within 6 inches of the last model to be exploded, and they suffer d6 mortal wounds. If that unit is destroyed, pick another unit within 6 inches, and they suffer d3 mortal wounds. And then keep going until either a unit is not destroyed or there are no other enemy units within 6 inches of a destroyed unit. Some older 40k players will remember the stratagem card known as strategy card known as a virus bomb, which in 2nd edition, would wipe out an army before the game started by doing basically this. That's horrible. Maybe there's some kind of catch I'm missing. I mean, it's only on a 6 or more that you get to pick one of these things. But even so. So that's that one. The Crimson Wheel Curse. Nearest enemy within 13 inches. They're infected by the Crimson Wheel Curse for the rest of the battle. Suffers 1 mortal wound. At the start of each turn, the infected unit and every other unit within enemy unit within 1 inches suffers a mortal wound. Okay, so I guess if you've got a big melee going on and you play this on one of them, then it starts to spread the disease. It's a good job that it doesn't pass the infection on, it just does mortal wounds. I imagine they play tested that and it was probably horrific. Redmoor Plague. If this plague manifests, put the nearest enemy hero within 13 inches. They're infected with the Redmoor Plague for the rest of the battle. Start the combat phase. If it's within 3 inches of other units in your opponent's army and not within 3 inches of your army, then you can treat the hero as a friendly unit until the end of the phase. So if he's not in combat with you and it's next to one of your units, he goes a little bit postal. These are horrible. The Never Plague. If this Great Plague manifests, you can reroll chanting rolls for friendly clan Pestilence priests for the rest of the battle. Undulant Scourge. Nearest enemy unit within 13 inches. Roll a dice for each model in that unit. On a 4+. For each 4+, that unit suffers a mortal wound. I mean, that feels like a horrific amount of mortal wound output. But it's only on a chanting roll of 6. So if you've got, let's just say you've got one regular priest, you're going to get this off maybe once a game. You can add 1 to the chanting rolls for each other clan Pestilence unit wholly within 13 inches of the chanter. So if you've got 3, you're going to get +2 to the roll, which means on a 4+, you'll manifest one of these horrific Great Plagues. You can only pick each one once. Ah, okay. I guess if you're doing that, you've got heavy into clan Pestilence and you're really trying to spread the plague around. It's very cool. It's very narrative. Ouch. Okay. Oh, have I done all of them? Is that... Yeah, Ishin, Verminous, Skyer, Pestilence. Yeah, okay. So when I want to clan traits... Now, my complaint with this page is there are generic ones that can go to any hero, and there are ones that can go to heroes from specific clans, but they haven't split them up on page. The which one can take it is hidden in the keyword text of each description. It would have been much better if they'd done these in little sub tables like they have with the battle traits. So, presentation aside, okay, so what do we have? There's one generic one called, I think there's only one generic one, called Devious Adversary. If the general fights within 3 inches of an enemy unit that has not fought yet, add 2 inches to the attack characteristic of all of the general's melee weapons until the end of that phase. This wily Skaven knows how best to capitalise on any opening left by their opponent. Ha 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 ha. Okay, so, yeah. A couple of extra attacks, that's nice. Right, now it looks like we're into Master Clans, and there are 3 of them. Supreme Manipulator. When you do Heroic Leadership, you can reroll the dice. Master of Magic. You can reroll Casting, Dispelling, and Unbinding rolls. Diabolic Schemer. Roll the dice every time an enemy model issues a command within 13 inches of the general. I love the way that the range is always 13 inches. On a 5+, that command is not received, but the command point is spent. And you receive 1 command point. That's diabolical. Right then, 1, 2, 3 for Clan Moulder. Cunning Mutator. This is getting your units to take damage for you. Moulder Supreme. I'd want to hit rolls and wound rolls made by friendly fighting beasts wholly within 13 inches of this general. Right, fighting beasts. Storm Fiends, not fighting beasts. But then again, they're more Skyer. They are Moulder and Skyer, but they're mostly Skyer, from what I can infer. Fighting beasts, fighting beasts. Come on, come on. Right, Help It Abomination is a fighting beast. It does not need more buffs. Rat Ogres, fighting beasts. Rat swarms, not fighting beasts. Giant rats, not fighting beasts. So it's ogres and... Or does it say ogres? Are they ogres these days, or are they ogres? Ogres. Plague ogres. So plague ogres and helper abominations gain +1 to hit and +1 to wound. Horde Master. Pick a friendly pack unit that was destroyed. Roll a d6 on a 3+. A new replacement unit identical is set up within 13 inches to general, more than 9 inches from enemy units. Destroyed unit can be replaced once. A replacement cannot be itself replaced. Why is... You can only have one command trait. Oh, I get... No, you can only have one general. So you can only have one command trait. I get that. Why it specifies that. Maybe in case someone finds a way around it. When a friendly pack unit. So I'm going to guess that the pack units are giant rats, pack. Rat ogres, pack. Rat swarms, pack. Hell Pit Abomination, thankfully, thanks Sigmar, not pack. Okay, so Clan Eshin have 3. This Unrivaled Killer. This general counts as 2 Clan Eshin heroes for the purposes of the Master of Murder battle trait. Master of Murder? Oh, okay, so if you've made this general if you've given him this command trait, then you only need to have one other Clan Eshin hero to get the Uber buff on Clan Eshin units, which is +1 to hit and wound rolls with melee weapons against enemy heroes. Okay. Shadow Master. Can't be targeted with ranged weapons whilst within 1 inch of a terrain feature. Incredible agility. The general can fly. In addition, you can... Oh, the sort of image of them fleetly leaping across rooftops and things. You can carry out their finest hour heroic action with this general twice instead of once. That's nice. Right, Clan Verminous. So, Claw Lords and such. Clan Verminous here. Verminous Valor. This is handing wounds off. Savage Overlord. If a Skaven unit, just a Skaven unit, doesn't have to be Clan Verminous, fails a battle shock test, they can restore order with Savage Brutality. The unit doesn't fail, but does suffer D3 mortal wounds. Then we have Powerful Alpha. This is nice. The first 2 wounds or mortal wounds caused to this general in each phase are negated. Right, Clan Skyer. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 3 of each, isn't there? If a friendly unit within 13 inches of this general that has is hiding a weapons team is destroyed, that hidden weapons team is not destroyed. Instead, before removing the last slain model, set up the weapon team wholly within 3 inches of that model and more than 3 inches of all enemy models. So, there is a mechanic. Let's go to that mechanic now. Wherever I can find it. Let's find an appropriate Skyer. No. Warp. No. Where's the Rattling Gun? My favourite horrific weapon from playing all the Vermintide on the PlayStation. Ah, hate that gun. Mama! Mama, I want bullets! Rattling gun, running through the gland. Okay, so it has the hidden weapons team rule. a lot of all the weapons teams, I think there might be one that doesn't, but I'll go through that with the profiles, have the hidden weapons team rule. It's a big, chunky, righty, ruly thing. When you start the unit to be part of your army, pick a friendly clan rat or storm vermin unit that has 10 or more models. Record this information on a separate piece of paper, blah, 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 blah. Do not set up the unit as described until it's revealed. You can hide up to 1 Rattling Gun in a Clan Rat or Storm Vermin unit for every 10 models in the Clan Rat or Storm Vermin unit. Hidden Rattling Gun units are destroyed if the unit in which they're hiding is destroyed before they're revealed. So, that command trait lets them not be destroyed if the unit's been wiped out, as long as they're within 13 inches of the general. So you've got a Warlock, you've got an Arch Warlock or a Bombardier. He allows the weapons teams to survive. So, the next bit for the weapons team. At the start of your shooting phase, you can reveal the hidden unit. If you do so, set up this unit wholly within 3 inches of the unit and more than 3 inches from enemy units. It can shoot in the phase at which it was revealed as long as the unit didn't run in that turn, but it could have retreated. Run away, shoot them, shoot them! So it's nice. I mean, the weapons teams are, 3 wounds, 6+ save for most of them. A couple of them, there are a few differences. But, so they're really easy to pick off with tiny amounts of ranged damage, ranged weapons. But not if you hide them in units of clan rats. I've got lots of weapons teams. Oh, it's for every 10 models. Okay, so technically, you could read this as saying... So I'm looking at the warp fire thrower, which is next to it on the page. And it says you can include 1 warp fire thrower in a clan rat storm vermin unit for every 10 models in that unit. And on the Rattling Gun, it says you include 1 Rattling Gun. Now, I'm sure you could interpret that as being, if you have a unit of 20 clan rats, it could take 2 Rattling Guns and 2 warp fires, rules as written, warp fire for throwers. I think what they meant to say, and what they actually mean, is 1 weapons team for every 10 models in the unit. And it looks like you can put them in various combinations. Oh, I can't wait! I can't wait to try it! Sorry. Clan Sky Hero. Masterful Scavenger. Add 2 to the number of Warpstone Sparks you can use during the battle if your army includes this general. Deranged Inventor. At the start of the shooting phase, pick 1 Sky unit within 13 inches. Add 1 to hit rolls for missile weapons. Then we're on to Pestilence. Master of Rot and Ruin. Add 1 to chanting rolls for this general. Oh, the plagues. Oh, the plagues. I really want to go and paint Skaven now. I've got a Sylvaneth book to review. And a campaign to write and print out. But the plagues. The plagues. Architect of Death, Clan Pestilence only. Add 1 to the damage characteristic of missile weapons used by friendly Plague Claw units wholly within 18 inches of this general. So the Plague Claw catapult. There we are. Has a damage characteristic of D6. Does anything else have the Plague Claw keyword? Don't think so. Okay. Adding 1 damage. I guess it's all friendly Plague Claw units with 18 inches, so you could have half a dozen of them. Although, match play restrictions for those people who do match play. But adding 1 onto a D6, it's only a single shot as well. Oh, sorry, my back's hurting. It's only a single shot, so meh. Maybe I'm missing the point. Comment in the description below if you think I'm missing the point. Ridden with poxes. At the end of the combat phase, roll a dice if this general is within 3 inches of enemy units. On a 4+, each enemy unit within 3 inches of the general suffers D3 mortal wounds. Yoink! Mine! Totally doing that!
More, plague.
Right. There's so much more still to go through. Right, we're on to Artifacts of Power. Same deal. They've squished it all into 2 pages, and it looks like there's 3 per clan, but they haven't... Yeah, okay. So, the Norshard. So, Master Clans first. Norshard. Pick one of the bearers' melee weapons. If any wounds are caused by attacks made with that weapon are allocated to an enemy unit, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound at the end of each turn, even if those wounds are subsequently healed. Said to be a fragment of one of the horned rat's fangs, the dagger leaves splinters in the wound that keep on chewing until the victim is reduced to a hollow sack of skin. Ouchie. So yeah, the description there, the wording isn't quite as tight as I expect from these days, but the implication is obvious that it's each turn for every wound you've been done with this weapon. You take a mortal wound at the end of each turn. Each turn, not your turn. So, ouch. Then it's a Master Clans hero, so you've got to get your Grey Seer close enough to shiv someone up with that, which you don't necessarily want to do. I don't know what a Grey Seer is like in a fight. There's a lot more jumping around on here than in other books. Grey Seer on a Screaming Bell. Grey Seer. 5 wounds, 5+ save. Yeah, pretty squishy. 3 attacks, 4+4+, -1, D3 damage. Fairly standard for a... yeah. Now that's interesting. So I seem to remember when I reviewed the box that came out relatively recently being a bit meh about I think the Grey Seer could only cast 1 spell in that book. I guess 2 in this one. So that's obviously correction that's been made. Or a fever dream that I'm misremembering. Okay, Skaven Brew, also Master Clans. Once per turn, you can pick another friendly Skaven unit within 3 inches. They suffer D3 wounds, but you can add 1 to your attack characteristic of the melee weapon used by the unit at the end of the hero phase.
Drink this! Go on! Drink! Those of you who survive will be vicious!
I think I've found my inner spirit animal. I think I'm a Skaven. Interesting. Staff of Rightful Supremacy. Subtract 1 from casting rolls, enemy wizards within 13 inches. Once per battle, when a friendly unit attempts to dispel an endless spell that's within 13 inches of the bearer, that endless spell is automatically dispelled. Do not make a dispelling roll.
No!
Okay. So, we're on to Clan Moulder units now. Lash of Fangs. A modified hit roll of a 6 in melee. Does D3 mortal wounds in addition. The Rabid Crown. Add 1 to hit rolls by friendly Clan Moulder fighting beast units and Clan Moulder pack units wholly within 13 inches. So Clan Moulder get to +1 to hit apart from normal Skaven, so not your pack masters or those ones. +1 to hit. Oh, Clan Moulder. I guess if you're going full Clan Moulder, you really want. You've got your ogres, your rat ogres, and your help abominations have really got to be pretty hard, because you've got very little else. You've got little rats, but I say little rats. You've got giant rats, but I think you rely on, yeah, maybe. But in a mixed Skaven army, but I guess you get fewer bonuses in a mixed Skaven army. But even so, that Avalanche of Flesh, 2+ on an uninjured unit. Every model within range. Okay. So, Foul Hide. We're still on Moulder, last Moulder one. The bearer has a wound characteristic of 10. In addition, at the start of the hero phase, you heal 1 wound allocated to the bearer. Ooh, yeah, you can get close to them with that. Right, we're now into Eshin. Shadow Magnet Trinket. Once per battle at the start of the combat phase, you can use the artifact. You gain Strike first until your next hero phase. Fast Skitter Cloak. Once per battle, you can You can take off the battlefield and come back on within 9 inches, not within 9 inches of another enemy unit. Gnaw Bomb. Once per battle, you can pick 1 terrain feature within 6 inches of the bearer. Until the next hero phase, that terrain feature has the scenery rules from the Gnawhole War Scroll, in addition to any other scenery rules it may have. Oh, that's nice. So, Gnawholes. I don't know what they did before, because as I've mentioned in previous videos I've made, I've deliberately not looked at the old rules of the Skaven, so I'm not confusing myself. So I don't know what they did. What they do now is add 1 to chanting rolls for priests within 3 inches, add 1 to casting, dispelling, and binding rolls for wizards within 3 inches. Okay, yeah, power coming from Skaven Blight, nice. Tunnels through reality. Once per turn at the end of your movement phase, you can pick 1 friendly Skaven unit wholly within 6 inches of this terrain feature and remove it from the battlefield. Set that unit up again wholly within 6 inches of a different Gnawhole in your army that does not have enemy units within 3 inches of it and more than 9 inches from all enemy units. Now, the way you deploy these, they've got to be near battlefield edges. You get 3 for your free traits. So you can't dominate the middle of the battlefield because of where you have to place them. But if you're using a Gnaw Bomb for a phase, you can make a reinforcement point anywhere you like, anywhere there's a terrain feature. So if you have units next to 3 different, I'm thinking about the practical use of this now. You can only use 1 per turn, move 1 unit per turn, but it's 1 per turn per Gnawhole. So if you've got your 3 free Gnawholes and you've got units next to each of them, and then this bad boy lets off a Gnaw Bomb in the middle of the battlefield, they can jump in. Choo, 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 choo. Yeah, pretty cool. Right, so now we're on to Clan Verminous heroes. Can't be targeted for attack by more than 1 enemy unit per combat phase. Shield of Distraction, it is called. The Rust Cursed Armour. I'd want to save rolls. In addition, pick an enemy unit to start the combat phase who has an artifact of power within 3 inches. Roll 2d6. If the roll beats the hero's bravery, the artifact of power is no longer considered to be an artifact of power. So it rusts away. Not only does this heavy suit of rust-thick armour deflect blows, but the ruin hexes scored into its plates spread tendrils of oxidizing entropy across the attacker's treasured artifacts. Off.
Die!
Warpstone Charm. Subtract 1 from save rolls for enemy units within 3 inches of the bearer. Start your hero phase. Roll a dice. On a 1, the bearer suffers D3 mortal wounds. Yeah, alright. -1 from save rolls. Oh, all your Stormcast Eternals who are setting to defend, who are going all out defense to get their 2+ saves. No. Right, now we're on to Skyer. Esoteric Warp Resonator. I like this already. Start the battle round, you receive an extra Warpstone Spark if the bear's on the battlefield. Okay, it's 1 for you to use that round. Oh, I like the name of it, but it sounds... Okay. The Vial of the Fulminator. The highly combustible oil within this vial is perfect for explosively propelling Skyer war machines across the battlefield. Start your movement phase. Pick 1 Clan Pestilence Skyer war machine within 6 inches. Double that unit's move characteristic until the end of the phase. At the end of that phase, roll the dice. On a 1, the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds.
Oh, I'm just going to put some of this into your doom wheel.
Some of what?
What? Yes.
The Brass Orb, still with Skyer. Once per battle, pick an enemy unit within 6 inches, roll a dice on a 3+. Once per battle, at the start of your hero phase, pick an... What's the description? This fist-sized orb of interlocking cogs can tear open the fabric of reality and plunge a nearby foe into the realm of chaos. Okay. Once per battle, at the start of your hero phase, you can pick 1 enemy unit within 6 inches of the bearer and roll a dice. On a 3+, remove that unit from the battlefield. At the end of that turn, your opponent must set up that unit again on the battlefield, wholly within their territory and more than 9 inches away from all enemy units.
Oh, you go away now. Go.
These are all so cool. Right, we're into Pestilence. Blade of Corruption. Pick one of them bears melee weapons. Unmodified wound roll. The weapon is a 6. The rend characteristic changes to 3 and has a damage characteristic of 6 for that attack. It turns it into a Terrorgeist. Good grief, Clan Pestilence seems to be so uber. The Fumigatus. Should a name be spoken whilst this ornate censer is being swung, the cloud of pungent toxins surrounding it will coalesce and seek out the one who possesses that name. Start the combat phase, pick an enemy unit within 3 inches, roll a dice. On a 1 to 2, nothing. 3 to 4, D3 mortal wounds. 5 to 6, D6 mortal wounds. I mean, I just don't know why you wouldn't want the Blade of Corruption. Oh, it's only on a 6 to hit. But what a 6. Oh, so they're not mortal wounds. It is just damage characteristic of 6 and a random -3. Could still be saved. Okay. Right, last, but I don't know, it might be least, but I don't imagine it will be. The Blistevist, the Living Cyst. This sentient pustule migrates from host to host, whispering its mad ravings and driving its bearer into a fevered frenzy. Strike first applies to the bearer if it made a charge move. Starting from the second battle round, you must transfer the artifact to another friendly Clan Pestilence hero on the battlefield if it's possible to do so, even if that hero already has an artifact of power. Right. We're nearly there with the rules. Nearly. Spell laws and prayer scriptures. So spell laws. Law of Ruin, Grey Seers. Scorch. Value of 5, range of 13. Pick an enemy unit. Roll a number of dice equal to the casting roll for each 6, suffer a mortal wound. Okay. Could be a lot. Could be none. Some. It's going to be... Chances are it'll be more than Arcane Bolt. I keep having in my head that the basic is D3 because of 40k and Smite, but it isn't. Arcane Bolt is 1. So it's really, probably better than Arcane Bolt. Maybe. Skitterleap. Casting value of 6, range of 13. Pick a friendly Skaven hero with a wound characteristic of 13 or less. Remove from the battlefield and set it up again. The hero cannot move in the following movement phase. Okay. Death Frenzy. Oh, that's the sound of this already. Death Frenzy is a spell that has a casting value of 7 and a range of 13. Pick a friendly Skaven unit that's not a hero. In that unit, models that are slain can fight before they're removed from play. Nice. The Law of Warp Vault Galvanism. Clan Skyer Wizards only. More warp power.
More warp power.
At great risk, the engineer channels raw warp lightning power into nearby allies or himself with spectacular pyrotechnic results. Casting value of 7, range of 13. Pick a friendly Clan Sky unit in range invisible. Add 1 to hit rolls and wound rolls until the next hero phase. However, the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds at the end of the next hero phase. Chain Warp Lightning. Value of 7, range of 13. Each unit within range suffers 1 mortal wound. The Warlock hurls a ball of Warp Lightning that careens across the battlefield, striking one target after another. Warp Lightning Shield. Casting value of 6. Until your next hero phase, the first 3 wounds caused to the caster are negated. If a 4th wound is caused to the caster in the same phase, the caster suffers D3 mortal wounds and the spell is unbound. So, you create a shield that absorbs all the energy, but if the shield collapses, you get hit with it all. Okay. That's so random. So cool. Right, prayer scriptures. Noxious prayers. Clan Pestilence priest only.
Disease, disease.
Sounds like an ABBA song. Disease, disease. Do, 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 do. No, never mind. Prayer. Answer value of 3. Range of 13. If answered, pick an enemy unit within range. Invisible to chancer. Roll the dice for each model in the unit. On a 5+, the unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Has no effect on Nurgle units. So that's twice as effective as the Law of Ruin Grey Seer Scorch spell. And it's rolling more dice. And you can't unbind prayers. Yeah, Clan Pestilence. That's where the power's at.
Filth.
Prayer value of 3 at range of 13. Friendly Pestilence unit. Add 1 to wound rolls.
Rapid.
Prayer value, answer value of 3. Range of 13. Pestilence unit in range invisible. Add 1 to attack characteristics of melee weapons. Clan Pestilence is where it's at. But then again, they're all good. But that they do seem to be, yeah. Okay, so we're into the green section of the book. I'm not going to go through the Path to Glory stuff because I don't. There is battle plan there. Tide of Vermin. Defenders territory in the centre of the battlefield with one objective in the centre of the battlefield. All the Skaven units are set up in gnaw holes. Start the first hero phase, the Skaven player must decide where the hidden gnaw holes will be located. They then set up, so in the start of the first hero phase, they set up the gnaw hole features in the battlefield more than 18 inches from other gnaw holes and more than 9 inches from enemy territory, which basically puts them around the outside. Then the Skaven player must set up all the units in their army wholly within 13 inches of any gnaw hole and more than 9 inches from enemy units. Caught off guard in the first battle round, the defender must spend 2 command points instead of 1 if they wish to redeploy all-out defense or unleash hell commands. Glorious victory. The player who controls the objective at the end of the battle wins a major victory. That's cool. I'm totally playing that. It is a time-old tenet of Skaven strategy that a fight should never be fair. Thus, when they launch attacks on enemy enclaves and strongholds, the Skaven do everything in their power to catch their foes unprepared and unable to defend themselves. Superb. Okay, then we've got some War Scroll battalions. So the Virulent Procession. So these are Pestilence ones. What we got? Congregation of Filth, which is 0 to 1 Vermin Lords, 1 Plague Priest on a Furnace, and 2+ Plague Monk units. There's the Foul Rain Congregation, again 0 to 1 Vermin Lords, 1 Plague Priest, 3 Plague Claw units. Note to self, 2 more Plague Claws. Plague Smog Congregation, 0 to 1 Vermin Lord, 1 Plague Priest on a Furnace, 2+ Plague Censer units. The ability for any one of those is Corrupted Earth. Start the hero phase, you can pick 1 terrain feature on the battlefield and roll the dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of it. On a 4+, they suffer D3 mortal wounds. I mean, Clan Pestilence stuff is all about just making people feel poorly. Very little of it is actual, you know, violence smash. It's just sort of, you will now be ill. So armor isn't really going to be a great deterrent against it. So it's gonna make units like armies like Storm Hosts, they're going to be a disadvantage. But other armies like, say, I don't know, Bone Splitters, who don't have a high armor save or any at all, the mortal wounds aren't going to be that much difference. So that, yeah, interesting. So Warp Congregate Convocation. So these are the Clan Skyer ones. You've got one that's based around Warp Lightning Cannons, one that's based around Storm Fiends, Warp Fire Throwers and Warp Grinders. It's basically different combinations. Storm Fiends and Acolytes, Storm Fiends, Jezzails, Rattling Guns, Storm Fiends, Doom Wheels, Doom Flayers. So there's different combinations. The ability, Overseers of the Engine Covens. Once per turn in shooting phase, pick a friendly unit in this battalion wholly within 13 inches of an Engineer or a Bombardier or an Arch Warlock from the same battalion. To the end of the phase, unmodified hit roll with a missile weapon is a 6. It scores 2 hits instead of 1. Okay, so it's extra hits for organising in this way. But they're quite nice. So for instance, you've got so like the rattle gauge warp lock. It's a Warlock Engineer and a Warlock Bombardier, Storm Fiends, Jezzails and Rattling Guns. So you can whack all the Rattling Guns into units. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Okay, there's also a Claw Horde, which is a Claw Lord, a Storm Vermin, 1 to 3 Storm Vermin, and 2 to 9 Clan Rat units. The ability is Claw Picked. Use the command ability after an enemy unit finishes a charge move. The command can only be issued by the Claw Lord, and the unit that receives the command must be another one from this battalion, blah 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 blah. This unit can attempt to charge in that phase. So, after an enemy unit finishes a charge move, then your Claw Lord can tell a Storm Vermin unit or a Clan Rat unit to do a charge there and then. Nice. Claw picked. The Storm Vermin and Clan Rats of a Verminous Claw Horde are carefully selected by its Claw Lord for their aggression. Okay, then we've got the Flesh Meld Menagerie, which is our Moulder one. Master Moulder, 0 to 3 Hell Pit Abominations, 1 to 3 Packmasters, 1 to 4 Rat Swarms or Giant Rats in any combination, 1 Rat Ogre unit. So I've got this. I've got all these. More beasts. If the Master Moulder uses the Unleash Hell More Beasts command ability, when a unit in the same battalion has been destroyed, the new replacement will arrive on a 2+ rather than a 3+. So where was that? Was that a battle trait? Battle traits. Issues the Unleash More Beasts command ability. Is that on the profile? Because we saw the one a minute ago that let it recycle a unit, but I can't see it describing that as a command ability. So maybe here we go. Yes, Unleash more beasts. So that's a Master Moulder thing. Okay. Then we have Slink Talon. 1 Deathmaster, 1 to 4 Gussery units, 2 to 8 Night Runner units. Murder Slain, no! If the Deathmaster is hiding in a unit in the same battalion until the end of the combat phase, in which he sets up the battlefield, add 1 to hit rolls made by friendly Clan Eshin units in the same battalion wholly within 13 inches of the Deathmaster. Oh, that's quite nice. They all slink together as a single evil, deadly, stabby horde. So those are the War Scroll battalions. I'm not going through the match play stuff, and I'm not going to go through every profile. Vermin Lords. They seem to be 13 wounds, 4+ save, bravery of 10. They all look like they are level 2 wizards. They've all got varying different weapon abilities. Yeah, not going through all the individual ones. Greyseer on a Screaming Bell, I've already been through in the previous review of the box, so I'm not going to go through that one. So the Greyseer has Warpstone tokens. Did they have Warpstone tokens? No. So the Greyseer on foot has Warpstone tokens. Once per turn, you can say you're going to cast a spell that you're going to eat a Warpstone token first. Roll 3d6. If the result's 13, it's successfully cast and cannot be unbound. But you take D3 mortal wounds afterwards that you can't negate. If it wasn't 13, discard 1 dice and use the remaining 2d6 for the casting roll. Wither is his specific spell. Casting value of 7, range 13. Pick one enemy unit within range, roll 2d6. If it's higher than their wound characteristic, the unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. And subtract 1 from hit rolls made by melee weapons until the next hero phase. Warlock Engineer. More warp energy. They can increase the damage, the number of attacks with their melee weapon from D3 to D6. It's currently the warp energy blade is D3 4 plus 3 plus minus 1 1, but you can bump it to D6 attacks, but you run the risk of taking mortal wounds at the end of the phase. Warp Lightning. So it's a spell, it's a casting value of 5, range of 13. Pick an enemy unit within range and that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Alternately, before making the casting roll, you can say that the unit will use its warp power accumulator to augment the spell. If you do so, the spell is successfully cast and not unbound. Pick an enemy unit within range invisible to the caster. That unit suffers D6 mortal wounds. However, if the spell is not successfully cast, or is unbound, the unit suffers D6 mortal wounds that cannot be negated. They have 5 wounds to start with. How much is a Warlock Engineer? £105. Woohoo! Massive risk! So, the Warlock Bombardier also has the Warp Lightning spell, same thing, but he also has more Doom Rocket. It's the Doom Rocket. It's 18-inch, D6 attacks. It's a ranged weapon, missile weapon. So D3 attacks, 4 plus 3 plus minus 1, 3 damage. If you go more Doom Rocket, you change the attack characteristic to D6, but again run the risk of D3 mortal wounds at the end of the turn. The Arch Warlock has a 3 plus save. Well, he looks like he's entirely encased in metal, so that will make sense. Stormcage Halberd, 2-inch melee weapon, D3 attacks, 4 plus 3 plus minus 2, 2. Piston Claw, 1-inch range, 1 attack, 4 plus 3 plus minus 2, 3. Knows 2 spells. Warpfire Gauntlet. Once per battle in the shooting phase, pick one enemy unit within 9 inches invisible, roll a dice. On a 2 plus, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. Nice. More Stormcage. So again, at the risk of D3 mortal wounds, you can change the attack characteristic of the Stormcage Halberd from D3 to D6. Warp Lightning Storm. So similar to Warp Lightning, but it's a 7 value, not a 5. You pick up to D3 enemy units in range to suffer the D3 mortal wounds. And you can use your power accumulator, and D3 enemy units will suffer the D6 mortal wounds. However, you will take 2 times D6 mortal wounds that can't be negated if it goes horribly wrong. By which we mean the spell not being successfully cast or being unbound. Now I'm assuming, let's just have a quick peek backwards. I say quick. So you can use a Warpstone Spark to reroll casting. And okay, you might take D3 mortal wounds from the Warpstone Spark, but there's less chance of it being unbound or not unbound or not successfully spelled, not successfully cast. Yeah, I love the risky random element to this. It could be insanely grotesque, or it could all fall apart on you. It is so totally Skaven. I really like it. Storm Fiends, 6 wounds, 4 plus save, with a combination of Rattling cannons with 3d6 attacks, wind launchers with 3 attacks that do -3 random d6 d3 damage, warp fire projectors that potentially do mortal wounds to models in range within 4+ in 1 unit. What's the range? 8 inches. Melee weapons, Doomfire Flare Gauntlets, 2d3 attacks, 3+3 +-2 d3. Grinder Fists, 4 attacks, 3+3 +-2 2. 4 attacks, Shock Gauntlets, 4 attacks, 3+3 +-1 2. Clubbing Blows, 4 attacks, 4+3 +-2. These are elites and issue commands to themselves. And each of these weapons has got an extra rule that goes with them. Warp fire projectors. Oh no, we already talked about that. Wind launchers. Add 1 to wound for every 10 models in the target unit. Sorry, if it has 10 or more models. Shock gauntlets. If the attack hit roll is a 6, the attack scores d6 hits instead of 1. Thunder Fist, Grind Fist Tunnelers. You can set the unit up in reserve and bring it in without 9. Doomflare Gauntlets. Add 1 to the attacks of Doomflare Gauntlets if the attacking model charged. So, and then there's all sorts of different weapon combinations, presumably matching the kit. Warp Fire Lightning Cannon, 8 wounds, 4+. The Warp Lightning Blast. Roll a dice. Don't use the attack sequence. Roll a dice to determine the power of the attack. Then roll 6 more dice. For each roll that is equal to or greater than the power of the attack, the target suffers 1 mortal wound. More Warp Lightning. If you've got an engineer within 3 inches, they can increase the power output. If you do, roll 12 more dice instead of 6 more dice. However, each one you roll does d3 mortal wounds to the Warp Lightning Cannon. Uh-oh, fell apart. Acolytes. 1 wound, 6 up save, so very squishy. Poison Wind Globe, 9-inch range, 1 attack, 3+3 +-2 d3. Can run and still shoot. And add 1 to wound rolls if the target unit has 10 or more models. That is potentially very nasty. Doom Wheel. 4d6 move, 8 wounds, 4+ save. Warp Bolts, 13-inch range, d6, 3+3 +-1 d3. Then some relatively low level attacks. More speed. When you make a normal move, you can re-roll the roll that determines the movement characteristic. However, if you've got any 1s, your opponent makes a normal move with the unit instead of you.
Ha ha! Go faster, not that way!
When the unit moves, Rolling Doom. It can pass across models with a wound characteristic of 3 or less in the same manner as a unit that can fly. For every unit you've moved across, on a 2+, they take d3 mortal wounds. And more Warp Bolts. You can increase the number of shots to 2d6. However, if you roll a double, the unit suffers 2d6 mortal wounds afterwards. I'm not going to go through all the weapons teams. They're all, you know, they do what they say on the tin. Warp Fire Thrower, Rattling Gun. The Warplock Jezzails. 30-inch range, 1 attack, 3+3 +-2 2. If you roll a 6 to hit, it goes to mortal wounds instead. And you get to add 1 to hit and add 1 to save if you didn't move because of the pervase. Doomflayer, Warp Grinder. Now the Doomflayer can be hidden in a weapon team. The Warp Grinder can't. Okay, so right. During deployment, instead of setting this unit up on the battlefield, you can place it to one side and say it's tunneling as a reserve unit. If you do, when you would set up another Skaven unit that's, you can say it will join this unit tunneling as a reserve. At the end of the movement phase, you can set this unit up within 9 inches of it, without 9 inches of all enemy units. Then the friendly unit can join, must be within 13 inches of this unit and 9 inches from all enemy units. So it's a deployment thingy. The Plague Priest. Enough has been said about the Plague Priest already, and all the horrible things they can do. They're not that good in a fight. D3 attacks, 3+3 plus -1/1. They got 2 weapons. Plagues. That was the Warpstone tipped staff. The Plague Sensor is 2 attacks, 4+3 plus -1/1. Add 1 to the attack characteristic of all its melee weapons if it made a charge this turn. Frenzied Assault. Okay, so it is quite good. Poisonous Fumes. Subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons that target the unit. Pestilence is its prayer. Answer value of 3, range of 13. Pick a point on the battlefield within range invisible to the caster. Every unit within 3 inches of that point on a 4+, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. If that unit is a Clan Pestilence unit, heal D3 mortal wounds to it instead. So you can use that either to hurt or to heal. Okay, so Plague Claw I mentioned, sort of touched on before. Minimum range is 6 inches, maximum 30. 1 attack, 3+2 plus -2 d6 damage. If you're... the unit does not have to be visible. Target does not have to be visible to the Plague Claw. If the target unit has 10 or more models, add 1 to hit rolls and increase the damage characteristic to 2d6. So it'll hit on 2, wound on 2, -2 rend and 2d6 damage. It also has the Hideous Death rule. Add 2 to battle shock rolls for units targeted by any friendly units with this ability during that turn. Oh, Jiminy. Plague Monks. They've either got a pair of fetid blades or a fetid blade and woe staff or stave. The blades 1 inch, 2, 3+, 4+, -1. The blade and staff 2 inch, 2 attacks, 4+, 4+, -1. Frenzied Assault, they get +1 to attack if they charge. Fetid weapons, if you roll a 6 to hit, you're -2 instead of dash on your rend. And in the hero phase, the unit's champion can use its Book of Woe to do mortal wounds to an enemy unit within 13 inches. Plague Priest on Plague Furnace also gets the Pestilence Prayer. The Altar of the Horned Rat. The unit has a ward save of 5+, and do not take battle shock tests for Skaven units wholly within 13 inches. Nice. The Great Plague Sensor. Pick 1 enemy unit within range and roll a dice. The range is 3 inches. On a 2+, that unit suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the Great Plague sensor value shown on the table. Goodness me. So it starts at D3+4 and goes down to D3+1. Poisonous fumes -1 to wound against this unit. Can't move very far though. Move characteristic of 6 going down to 3. Pushed into battle, cannot move unless it starts the movement phase within 6 inches of 10 or more friendly Skaven models. Plague Sensor Bearers have 2 wounds each, 3 attacks, 3+3+-1, 2, so they're quite nice. They also have Frenzied Assault, so if they charge, they get more attacks. Plague Disciples. Add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made by this unit. Add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made by this unit if it's wholly within 18 inches of any friendly Plague Monk units. Right, we're on to Verminous now. Clawlord. 5 wounds, 4+ save, 6 attacks, 3+3+-1, 2. Cornered Fury. Add the number of wounds allocated to this unit to the attacks characteristic of the unit's melee weapon. So if you've done 4 wounds to it and you've got it down to 1 wound, it has 10 attacks. Gnash Gnaw on their bones. You can use this command ability when you pick a friendly clan Verminous unit to fight in the command phase. Add 1 to the attack characteristic of the unit's melee weapons that phase. Okay, so those 40 clan rats who are getting their 40 attacks within 5 inches because of their rusty spears, for the spending of a command point, is 80 attacks. I'm just going to let that hang in the air. The vile stench of rotting fur. Clan rats we already talked about. So 1 wound, 5+. No, we didn't already talk about it. We touched on them and I have reviewed them in the other book, in the other review, so I won't focus on those too much. The thing to particularly mention is they get the Seething Swarm rule, means they get D3 models back into the unit. Storm Vermin, similarly, they're good with, they now have 2 attacks, 3+3+-1, 1 damage, and they can, they're elite bodyguards, so they can soak damage from nearby heroes. Getting to the end now, towards the end. Packmasters, so we're on to Moulder. They can crack the whip. Start the movement phase, pick a friendly clan Moulder pack unit within 13 inches. Add 3 to run rolls and charge rolls for the unit. In addition, until the next movement phase, add 1 to wound rolls by melee weapons. This unit cannot benefit from this more than once per turn. The Master Moulder gets the same ability, and he gets to unleash more beasts, which is when a pack is destroyed with... It's a command ability, so you've got to have a command point to use it. When a pack is destroyed on a 3+, a new replacement unit comes in within 12 inches of this unit and 9 inches away from enemy units. You can only do this once. And the Master Moulder can heal D3 wounds on Clan Moulder packs. We've already talked about the Hellpit Abomination. Keyword Abomination. Rat Ogres have a wounds characteristic of 6 and a save of 4. Their Tearing Claws, Blades and Fangs, 4 attacks, 3+3+-1, 2 damage. Unmodified hit rolls of 6, score 2 hits instead of 1. Yowzers. Giant rats. Wound characteristic of 1, no save. 2 attacks, 4+4+. Improve the rend characteristic of this unit's teeth by 1 if it has 3 to 5 models. By 2 if it has 6 or more models. So I think they still come in multiples of 6 because that's how they're sold. So a pack of 18 is going to have -2 to its rend because of it being a wave of rats. And you're going to get all your attacks in because... Oh no. No, you're going to get an extra 1 inch to your range. Okay. Gutter runners. Ashen throwing stars. 3 attacks. 4+4+. Punch, dagger and blade. Melee weapon. 2 attacks. 3+3+, -1/1. Sneaky infiltrators. You can put them in reserve. You have to set them up within 6 inches of a terrain feature, more than 9 inches away from enemy units. Can run and shoot. Unmodified hit rolls of 6 do mortal wounds and the attack sequence ends. Night runners, you know, not quite as good. Their throwing weapons are only 1 attack, and they wound on 5s, not 4s. Their stabbing blades, 1 attack and 4s rather than 3s. They also have the toxins. They do go to mortal wounds if they hit on 6s. Can run and shoot. Oh yeah, they both get that. I don't know if I mentioned that. I think I did. And rather than being deployed from reserve, they have slinking advance, so they can make a move up to 2d6 before the battle begins. I've already mentioned the way the gnaw holes work. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Chaos Battletome Skaven. Wow, I mean, this book is so characterful and so well put together. I can't speak about how it will perform from a match play point of view. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's random and powerful. It doesn't feel like there's much random with the Clan Pestilence stuff or the Clan Moulder stuff. That feels very much like it will perform in that kind of scenario. But for those of you who love your random ratty chaos, Clan Skyer is definitely your friend. I am very much looking forward to playing with this. It feels absolutely spot on to me. Exactly how Skaven should feel. Terrifying in large numbers. All kinds of hideous contraptions and beasts. But if you corner them, they run away. And if things go wrong for them, everything falls apart. Yes, I don't think I could really have asked for more. A couple of tiny things with the layout. Great book. Very pleased. So, there endeth my review. Thank you for watching. Shout out to channel members. Thank you for your ongoing support. Your support is amazing. If you want to support me, check out the description of the video. There are a number of ways to do it. You can become a channel member and get access to exclusive videos in the Discord. You could use my affiliate link to shop at Element Games because I get commission through them. There's Patreon and all the other bits and bobs. So until next time, stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.